All right, so on the yellow sheet, it says the parabolas are either x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k, and those would open up or down. And then it says y minus k squared equals 4p x minus h, and those would open, whoops, sideways. I don't know why that looks like a V, I'm sorry. All right, this notation, it's just flipped sides of the equal sign. Does everybody see what I'm saying? That first one is this, because it has a y minus k back here. So make sure you understand that it's this form. Okay, so what is h and k and p? Wait time, wait time. Yes, Peyton. Make them come here all the time for those, don't you?
I got stopped in the hallway because I went back.
Okay, h is -1, k is +4, and 4p is equal to 3, which would make p 3/4. We good? So then if you look at your sheet, make sure you're looking at the ones that open sideways or have the y quantity squared. And it says the vertex, which is the same no matter what, is hk. The focus is supposed to be h plus p, comma, k. And the directrix is the other thing it asked for on the quiz, is y equals h minus p. Now, you do have to graph it on the quiz. -1 up 4 is somewhere over here. And if p is positive, it's opening to the right. Okay, so 3/4 is the p-value. So 3/4 of a unit inside the parabola would be the focus, and 3/4 of a unit back this way would be the directrix. So this is -1/4, comma 4, and y equals -1 3/4, which would be what, 7/4, guys? Or a decimal, I really don't care. All right. The hardest part, remember, is you need an accurate point. Does anybody remember how we find an accurate point? We plug it in, we plug it into the squared one. So we want to plug in a y value a couple units away from 4. What do you want to use? 6? Okay. So we picked y equals 6. So we have 3, comma, x plus 1 equals 6 minus 2 squared. This will become, no, it was 6 minus 4. Sorry, I suddenly changed the equation. Is everybody good? Okay, 6 minus 4 is 2, squared is 4. Yeah, we didn't pick one that's going to work out super nice, but it doesn't really matter. Decimal's fine even. We don't usually distribute, we just divide, remember? Oh, yeah, we're dividing. Okay, 4/3. And then -1. So is it 1/3? So if you went over just a third, you'd be up at 6. I don't have graph paper, so mine is just a mess anyway, but it should be giving you an accurate graph, okay? If you just slap something on there and it's not halfway accurate because you found a point, you're going to lose. You probably just get a 4 out of 5, but yes. We plugged in y equals 6 and we got out x equals 1/3. So we made that an ordered pair. And then once we went to the right a third and up to 6, you could also do the same thing on the other direction because there's an axis of symmetry. Are you good? Anyone else have a question? Okay. For more practice, you still have a bunch of conics in the old packet, okay, that we didn't do, if you're besides number 2 here that you could do for practice. Oh, nice. Guess what? I had graph paper. Just kidding. All right. Number 3 is okay if I do this one? Use the information provided to write the, and I think on the, it just says on the quiz, the form from the sheet, okay? So use the same form that's on here. Write the equation. Well, the vertex is always HK. If this focus has the same H, can you tell which way it's going to open? I usually sketch, but -3, 6, -3, what is that? 6.25 though? So it's going to open up and be inside of there. So this should be K plus P is what it says on the sheets. So what are we going to find? All we need is P and we have an equation, right? Okay, so K plus P equals 27/4, but we already know K is what? So if I subtract, I think I get 1/4. Someone check me. 27 divided by 4 minus 6. What is it? 3/4? Yeah. It's 3/4. Thank you. It is. You're right. All right. Now, all I have to do is write the equation, and you can use the form that's right on this sheet. I'll copy it down first. X minus h squared equals 4p y minus k. And we need to put in a -3 for h, so this will become +3. 4p will become what? Okay, it'll just become, yeah. 4 times 3 divided by 4 would be 3. And then it's y minus k, which was 6. Any questions? I think the other one gives you the directrix, because like one version of the quiz has given the focus and one has given the directrix. And then you have a completing the square one. All right, I'm really nervous that you've all forgotten how to complete the square. Does anybody remember how to complete the square with a parabola? The one most of you didn't get the first time around. Yes, and I'm actually going to move the 107 over here. When I move it, I'm adding it, right? Yes. And then what do I need to do over here? Need to take out a -2. That will leave a 1x squared, be real careful, plus 14x. Everybody okay? Okay, out of these, I divided out a -2. Now what? X plus half of b, yes, which would be 7 squared. That squared goes here as 49. Yes, then 49 times -2 goes over here. That's -98, which would be 9. 107 minus 98. Okay, is this the form? Can I stop? The form on the sheet looks like this, and I don't care which side of the equation it's on, but the 4p needs to go with the unsquared side. So I don't care if you leave this on the right-hand side, but we need to move this over here. So what are we going to have to do? Yes. And divide by 2, -2 if you want, but it's going to become a -1/2 over here. So -1/2 times -2 will make that go away. Now, on the actual quiz, the first time around, I think after you did all that, I asked you, like, where's the vertex and stuff. This time I didn't ask you any of that. I just, like, if you get it completed this square, you're done. Any questions? I highly suggest you practice that. On the other side, what is this a graph of because of the minus in here? Oh, I just realized what a gift you've been given. It is a hyperbola. This quiz only has hyperbolas, so should you get confused about parabola or about hyperbolas and ellipses? There aren't any ellipses on this quiz, okay? So we're on hyperbolas. On hyperbolas, what is the definition of A? Not the bigger one, it's the one that's under the positive term here, okay? So here it's 4 on number 8, not 9. This is A squared, okay? So this, and oh, this is the one that gets everybody because this is not y minus h, right? The vertex is not 1, 2. Why not? Yeah, because it's always y minus k and x minus h. So h is 2, k is 1. So the center, it's not the vertex anyway, I may have said vertex. The center is at 2, 1, not 1, 2. Everybody okay? Yeah. And then A is what? And B squared is 9, so B is 3. What's the definition for C? Yep. When it's minus in the middle here, then it's plus for the definition. Okay. So, does anyone remember how this goes? Okay. 2, 1 is the center of the box, which is nothing to the graph, but it's the center of the box. Yes, this is underneath the y, so we go up and down 4. Now, are those going to be the vertices or not? When it has the y first, that means it opens up and down, so those are the vertices. So the vertices are at h comma k plus or minus a, which is exactly what we just did. 2, and then it was 1 plus 4, which was 5, and 1 minus 4, which was -3. All right, how far do we go out either way? Do we have to be accurate about how far we go out either way? Yeah. Yes. Okay. And it's 3 because it's B. Those don't have a name, but they're what helps us draw the box accurately so that we can draw the asymptotes accurately that are the diagonals. Okay, that's a little bendy, sorry. So it touches right here, and then it's supposed to get closer and closer to this asymptote. I usually don't do a very good job of drawing these. Okay. We need the foci and the asymptote still. What's the equation for foci, guys? Which in this case would be 2, 1 plus or minus 5. So the foci, those were the vertices up there. The foci are at 2, 6 and 2, -4. And last but not least, the equation of the asymptotes. Okay, y minus 1 right here equals plus or minus, and then over here it's x minus 2. And sometimes the slope is b over a and sometimes it's a over b. You know based on whether it opened up or down, but it's also the change under the y over the x. So it should be a over b this time, yes? Not 16/9, that's 4/3. And you should be able to tell that that's what your slope did. It went up 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1, 2, 3 for the box. Yes.
Okay, so I thought it opened sideways.
If it opens sideways, it's b over a. All right. And one writing an equation question. I can't remember if I gave you a tricky one for one of them where no, I don't think I did. All right, so it doesn't matter. I'll just keep doing odds. If you know the vertices are at right 15 down 5, left 7 down 5, and that means it's opening this way, what can you tell me? To be able to find the equation, we need the center. We need to find H, K, A, and B, right? Okay. Anybody know one of those yet? Yes, we have the vertices. When it opens sideways, the vertices are... All right, so what's K? There we go. K is -5. All right. Anybody remember the easier way to find H than to deal with all this plus or minus A business? Where's the center? Joey? Midpoint? Does that make sense, guys? So 15 plus -7 is 8. And then the other one would have been -10 over 2. So we would end up with 4, -5. So we already figured out that H is -5, or I'm sorry, K was -5, but now we figured out H is 4. So now we can find A. By the way, this distance from this center is A. So how far is that from 4, -5 to 15, -5? Okay, should be 11. But we'll use the fancy formula, okay? We have 15 is H plus A. Okay, right here. But what do we know about H? It's 4. So could you have figured it out algebraically that A is 11? All right. Anybody know the fast and down and dirty way to find B now if you know A is 11? We don't write our equations this way. We don't solve them for y equals form. But this slope is either A over B or B over A, right? It could be reduced, but clearly A is 11, so B must be. Okay, so what's the equation look like? And we're done with this. It opens sideways, so make sure you're looking at the right one. Over
100.
which is just a squared, right? Maybe I should write the formula down. Y minus -5 or plus 5 over B squared, which would be 49. Everybody good? Okay. Last one, completing the square. And one of these problems also says find the eccentricity, by the way, which I did not put on here anywhere. Yes. So we could have found it for the first one that we graphed. I didn't ask you to, right? Okay. But let's do a little completing the square. Makes me very nervous. Okay, so the x's are -9x squared, -54x. The y's are a positive 25y squared and a negative 250y. And I got to move the 356 to the other side, which means I'm adding it, which makes it positive. Some of you did little sign mistakes and stuff. And then some of you forgot the whole number out front does something. Okay, what do I need to take out of these two? Yeah, I have to have the x squared. I have to have an x squared by itself to complete the square. So I'm just taking out the coefficient on the squared term, which is -9. So then what's -54 divided by -9? +6. Then back here for the y's, I need to take out a positive 25, which will leave me y squared minus 10y. Did I do that right, guys? And then over here I have 356, but I'm going to have plus -9 times something plus 25 times something, right? Because I got to remember this is going to be -9 times something, and this is going to be 25 times something. All right. I have -9, x, what? Plus 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. So this is actually -9 times 9, or -81 right there. Then I have plus 25. Y minus, when it's minus 10, it's still half, it's -5. And then I cannot believe some of you wrote -25 in this blank. What's -5 times -5? Okay, it's positive. And then this was a positive 25 times 25. Right. Okay, so on this messy side, I have 356 minus 81 plus 625. Somebody helping me out? Okay. Now, there's two things I need to do to finish this question. Right, Xander? You awake? I need to divide everything by 900, but does anybody know what the other one is? Do we usually start this problem with a negative? No, so I'm going to flip-flop these, okay? But I'll write everything over 900 first. So how many times does 25 go into 900? 36 times. And I'm going to move that one out front because it's positive. And then it's going to be minus. 9 goes into 900 100 times. And over here, 900 divided by 900 is 1. Now it's in the form of a hyperbola. Okay. Just for practice on this one, can you find E for me? What's A? Yeah, it is a hyperbola, so it's the one under the positive term, which remember we had to re-switch these around. So this is A squared, A is 6. How do we find C? Okay, so 36 plus 100, and then we got to square root that. But remember I said it's okay to give me a decimal. So square root of 136 divided by 6. Some of you wrote that down, right, and then typed it in your calculator wrong. Is the 6 underneath the radical? No. So you have to type square root of 136 and then either right arrow out from underneath the box or just hit enter and then divide by 6. You can. You can even leave it exact and I'd count it right, but I have 1.94. Yeah, since I'm asking for a decimal, there's not really a reason to rationalize, but you certainly could. 4 goes into that, yes? Do you seem like you remember all the conic stuff? Okay, I'm going to post that video